You're good to go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, tonight I am opening the Needham Conservation Commission public hearing. It is August 12th at 7 p.m. As a preliminary matter, my name is Janet Bernardo, Conservation Commission Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members of the board and staff are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Peter.
Here.
Stephen.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Sue.
Here.
Why, your just picture is frozen? Artie. You're on mute, but I can see you. Can you hear me?
Here.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's everybody. Okay, then staff. Deb, can you hear me?
Here. Yep, here.
Clay?
Here.
And we'll go through, as we go through the agenda, everybody that we're expecting to speak as we come up to their projects. If you think that we can't hear you, I don't even know what to say about that. There's a way. You can turn your video on, you can wave your arms, you can, jump in, text. Okay, so good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, and extended to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspended the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. I'm getting faster, I think. Just saying. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the Commission chair and through use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions or comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. Or just yell out because sometimes we don't see the hand. Meeting materials, all supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Please, before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules. For effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes, the chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and or their consultants to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remind to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay, we did that. Okay, and we're going to take other business first because some of the notices will take a little while, so we can have some of the other business taken care of. So 49 Green Street, DP file number 234826. Are we expecting anybody here for that? I don't see anybody on the.
Well, I'm here for Diane Sources.
For the golf course? Are you here for the golf course?
Yes.
Okay.
So this was an application brought to you a couple of years back, and it was for replacement of the bridge. It was a walk bridge. So they replaced it. And again, we find that the bridge was slightly larger, though the supports, the sonotubes and the supports closest or in the stream remain the same. It's just the overhangs are slightly larger. So with that, we do request that the order of conditions be closed and the certificate of compliance be issued for the site. Everything has been stabilized.
Great. I just crossed over that bridge the other day and it is stable. Anybody, staff, Clay or Deb, you have any comment about this project?
No, I went by, looks nice. I know it's just slightly larger than proposed. But I have no issues.
Okay. Anybody in the commission? Peter, any comment, concerns?
No comment.
Stephen,
No comment.
Bill,
No comment.
Sue,
No comment.
and Artie? Did he already leave us? He might have already left.
No, I haven't left. I haven't left yet, but I do have to leave for a few minutes because I think negotiate something right now. So, but I will be back.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
So have the minutes reflect that Artie Crocker has stepped away at 7:06 Kimberly. But we have a quorum to either. So, okay, I have no further comments. Can I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 49 Green Street, DP file number 2348826?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
and me, I, did I get everybody? I think so. Okay, great. That
Okay,
is done.
all
That's
right.
done. You got
And that-
yours.
Yeah, for Debbie, that could, or Clay, that could be sent out to Field Resources. That would be great.
Okay, next one on other business, 45 Meadowbrook Road, DP file number 234329, a request for certificate of compliance. There is applicant have anything they'd like to say?
The gentleman who did our field survey is traveling, but I believe spoke with Debbie and we were all set, but let us know if you feel differently.
Debbie, you have anything to say?
So there were just a few minor deviations. The retaining wall by the air conditioner units was already in existence, but wasn't shown on the original plan. So that was one of the deviations. I think you guys put in kind of a pathway with flagstones.
That was originally there. We replaced it before we
Okay.
built the house with brick to match.
Okay.
the brick.
So there were just a few minor deviations. I don't have any issues. It was issued in 1999.
Okay,
So it's an oldie but goodie.
So you recommend issuing at the certificate?
Yes,
Okay, any staff have, any staff?
I
have
am staff.
I mean, any commissioners have any comments? Peter,
No.
Stephen,
No comment.
Bill,
No comment.
Sue,
No comment.
and anybody in the audience have any comment regarding 45 Meadowbrook Road? And either put your hand up or turn on your video or whatever works for you. You see anything, Clay?
No hands.
Okay, so I need a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 45 Meadowbrook Road, DP file number 234329.
So moved.
Can I
Second.
second? Okay, Sue, all in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, I. Okay, great, thank you very much. That will be mailed out. Is that,
Want it mailed out certified mail when we issue it, or do you want to pick it up?
We'll pick it up.
Okay, I'll get in touch with you when it's ready for pickup.
because we all have to sign it, so it takes a little bit of time. Are you in a major hurry?
I will know better tomorrow. We have to extend the closing, but this is huge. So thank you very much.
It's just a matter of getting everybody. Same time.
Okay, we'll
It's
figure.
always a little
Don't
tricky.
worry. Thank you all so much.
Great. Thanks, good to see you. Good
You
luck.
too, Janet.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there was an emergency certification for Rosemary Brook, West Street Pump Station, a beaver dam breaching. Deb, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So I was contacted per usual by the health department, that there was a potential emergency certification. So there's a beaver dam on Rosemary Brook that the DPW thought might, be an issue for the pump station. So they talked to the town's, consultant, as far as beaver dams and such go. And so they decided to request the emergency certification from the health department. And we needed to issue an emergency certification for them to breach the beaver dam because there is some flooding over there. So I had to sign off on that last week. And so you need to vote to ratify the emergency certification. So they have already, have already breached the dam. They were going to be trapping the beavers, but they haven't seen any signs of them yet. So they're going to keep a watch and see if they start building the dam back up again.
So you need a vote. So I'm looking for a motion to
Ratify
ratify the
the emergency
emergency
certification.
certification
for
at
the-
Rosemary Brook for the beaver dam breaching. The
Exactly.
breaching of the beaver dam.
So
Yeah.
moved.
Thank you, Bill, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Oh, there you are. Sue. Great, Janet, aye. All right, so that's, do we need to ask anybody in the audience if they have any comment about that? Now
Yeah,
that
you
we
can.
voted it?
I mean, if you want.
Anybody has any comment? Now's your time. We're moving on. 7:12. Okay. So now we're back to the notice of intent. Pick up 83 Rolling Lane, DP file number 234870. This is a continued notice of intent. Rolling Lane, I'm expecting Scott Henderson,
Here.
and you can hear me, and your applicant, your homeowners, or your homeowner, Flavia and Matthew.
They're here.
They're here.
They
Do
should
they
be.
need-
I'll shoot him a text. I
They
can
need to
represent
be
them
here?
now.
Okay. Okay, you want to tell us where we're at?
Sure. I'm going to share my screen. If that's cool.
Is that our plan for this one, or is Clay gonna?
Well, I guess I wasn't really sure. So we met
Right.
on June 24th. We had a few outstanding items. At that point, I didn't have a DEP file number. We also hadn't heard back from Natural Heritage about whether or not the project would be considered a take. The left or the west portion of the property was within a mapped habitat. We received a letter that I forwarded to Clay and Deb that states it's not an adverse take. So we're clear from them. We had some other permitting to do in the meantime. We got approved by Design Review Board. We have a Zoning Board of Appeals special permit hearing next Thursday to review and discuss some of the retaining walls on the site because they exceed 4 feet within the side yard setback. And per my notes, the one outstanding item, I think, with the Conservation Commission was my petition for a waiver from conducting soil testing prior to issuance of the permit. I know, Janet, I don't think you were there at that 24th hearing, and I know you're the sort of the in-house civil on the commission. You know, it's such a difficult site to access with a machine. You know, the slope from the back of the house to the lower yard area where that infiltration system's going. That's about a 22-foot drop at a 1-to-1, 1.5 to 1 slope. And so in order just to get a machine down, getting it down is probably not the problem. It's really getting it back up. We would have to do a decent amount of earthwork and disturbance just to be able to get that track down there to be able to dig a deep test pit. I baked into my drainage calculations some sort of, I think, safe assumptions. The drainage system, the bottom of the excavation is only a foot below the existing ground level in that backyard because we're filling that area a decent amount.
I'm sorry, Clay, is there a second picture?
Yeah, Clay, you want to flip to the proposed? Yeah, there we
Thank
go.
you. And zoom in, make it a little bit bigger. Perfect.
I apologize for my cartoonish
No,
colored
this
drawing. I just
totally
put that up
works.
today.
This is
So,
very obvious. It's very helpful. Thank you.
so basically, you know, the soil testing, I would obviously prefer to have that too at this point. But we didn't want to do any disturbance and, you know, mobilize on the site and cause a, you know, a ruckus before we had our other permits. You know, we knew that we had quite a bit of permitting to go through between conservation and ZBA. So we didn't want to, you know, to do that prior to having the all clear on the project as a whole. You know, I think if we go down there at the very outset of construction and find soil conditions that are in opposition or that aren't consistent with my assumptions in my drainage model, there are a few things. Right now, I'm assuming soil group A and an infiltration rate of 2.41. You know, if it is soil group B or something like that, the differential between impervious surface on an A site versus a B site is actually more difficult to handle in this condition. If I have to upsize the system for some reason, I can do that. There's plenty of real estate. I could probably double, if not triple the size of that infiltration system without really changing anything. It's just still be located in the yard back there. So in this particular case, I was hoping that we could get a waiver on the soil testing and do that at the very outset of everything. So once we have our other permits in hand, I think we'd go out there and do some soil testing for both structural design of those retaining walls. We have some preliminary design in place, and I can also report back conditions where the infiltration system is located well before we mobilize for any work. So that was the one outstanding waiver. If you know you're not inclined to approve that, we can get out there. I think we see some light at the end of the tunnel on June 24th. We didn't really have any idea whether or not it would be favorably viewed by design review and ZBA, but it looks like it is at this point. So
Yeah, I get that makes sense. It seems I understand that the rest of the commission felt comfortable with that. If that's not true, somebody can maybe give it a yell. And the calculations appeared fine. I reviewed all of the stormwater calculations. And you're going to ZBA in another week, you think? And
yeah, next Thursday we have a hearing.
so our options, you know, could be to close this if the commission feels that it's ready to be closed, or we could wait to hear what ZBA has in case you have to change anything. And then you would have to submit us a revised drawing. Do you have a preference on that?
I'm amicable to that. You know, I think the critical path here is not even the permitting at this point. Now it's scheduling. As anyone knows in the industry, everything's backed up pretty far. So I think is the next conservation hearing the week after next, 2 weeks from now.
So it's August 26th. Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think that's fine. If you want to opt to close then, just in case something happens at ZBA. But
Okay.
we just wanted to sort of bury any issues with the commission tonight. So that the only thing outstanding was that. So.
Okay, so does anybody in the board have any comments? I'm trying to make my thing bigger. Oops, that's not what I want. No, I just see you. Okay, so, oh, thanks, Clay. Peter, you have any comments?
No comments.
Stephen,
No comments.
Bill,
No comments.
Sue?
No comment.
Does anybody in the audience have any comments regarding this project at 83 Rolling Lane?
There are no hands.
Okay, so we're going to continue to wait for a ZBA's decision next Thursday. So I need a motion to continue this until August 26th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Okay, great. Thank you very much. That was very
Thank you.
helpful. And
All right.
everything else looks fine. I believe in our, where we stand, so you don't need to attend the hearing if you choose not to for some reason. But
Okay.
if you
I
want to,
think-
that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'll review will there be a draft order before that hearing, you think, or is?
Probably not. We usually talk about it at the hearing.
At the hearing, then go next. Okay, I might just attend just to listen, but
That's fine.
appreciate your time. Good luck with the
Okay.
agenda.
Thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda, 631 South Street, and I understand 631 South Street and 649 South Street are basically together, two different notice of intents, but what is it? It's two properties that are next to each other or something? Is that the idea? Why are these going together? Deb, Clay, anybody?
Yeah, the properties are essentially abutting each other. They're owned within the same family. And the wetland system is right between them. So the work is being done essentially along that property line.
Okay. There is no DEP file number at this moment, so we can open the hearing, but we cannot close the hearing. So we are happy to hear a presentation, and we will open these together and we will hear, so for down here, Emily Petro. Can you hear me? And can you speak and say yes? I can't hear you. I can see you. Try again. I can't hear you. And Brian Nelson?
Yes, I'm here. Not sure if Emily's microphone's working or not.
Yeah, I can't hear her. She's
Okay,
but can you hear us, Emily? Okay, she can hear us. We just can't hear her. So she'll work on that. Is that
Okay.
okay if we continue without you hearing, without you being able to speak?
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. We'll let her get that worked out.
Okay.
So, yeah, for the record, I'm Brian Nelson with Metro West Engineering. Emily Petro's one of my colleagues at Metro West. And she's going to, when she gets her volume back, we'll let her take over. But we're here to present notices of intent for the two properties, adjacent properties at 631 and 649 South Street. Basically, they're located on the westerly side of South Street and about 400 or 500 feet south of the intersection of South Street and High Rock Street. So they're bounded by residential properties, basically on all sides. And Clay, exactly, I was going to say, if you can put up the presentation board that we had sent over, if you can zoom out just a little bit. And just to give you some context, South Street is located on the right side of the page, running basically north to south or south to north. We're located on the west side. The property at 631 South is located at the top of the page. And you can see the existing houses basically tucked up into the northwest corner of the site. And that property contains just under an acre of land. The property at 649 South is a little bit bigger in area. It's about 2.3 acres. And you can see the existing house is basically located, I think, about 70 so feet or so west of South Street, kind of in the central part of the property. And as Clay mentioned, the wetland system is basically kind of straddles the common boundary between the two, with the majority of the wetland being shown on the property of 649. But it's shown in cyan on this drawing. It's kind of got an irregular shape to it, and there's a little projection that extends onto the property of 631, and the majority of that wetland's located at 649. This plan shows the 25-foot buffer, the 50-foot buffer extending out radially. Those are shown in magenta, and the 100-foot buffer zone is shown in green. And the purposes of these notices of intent are basically for removal of trees that There are a few within the wetland area. The majority of the trees are located within that 25-foot wetland buffer zone, or what I would call the no disturb zone. And then we've got a couple that are basically located within that range between the 25 and 50-foot wetland buffer zones. And I'm going to start with 631 first, because that one's a little more simple. Basically, that entails the removal of 2 trees on site. One of the trees is it's shown as tree number 3, and it's an American elm. It's located right in the center, an 8-inch diameter American elm located right in the center of that wetland area. The other one is a 18-inch caliper white ash, and that's located just on the northerly boundary of the wetland, about 30 feet or so west of the elm. Both of those trees are dead. And so they're hazards, certainly for limbs falling and the trees falling.
Now, can you keep snags for either of those trees so that they don't have to come all the way down? I mean,
We can look at that as we go. The
Cutting
arborist,
trees in the wetlands is definitely not one of, the things that we like to see,
Mhm.
so. It's
we
gonna
can
be,
look at that. Yeah, I think there's a good possibility for those 2 that we can keep the snag, to trim them or cut them. So, that certainly the stump and then 8 or 10 feet above that is left. Some of the trees from the report from the arborist, and we'll get to this when we get to 649, have some rot and some decay and, basically cracks at the base. So I'm not so sure if we want to leave those as snags, but I think maybe we could lean on the arborist a little bit harder to see which ones they feel comfortable leaving as snags and which ones they wouldn't.
okay.
Um,
So far, 3 and 5 is a potential for leaving as snags.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, is that everything on 631?
that is correct. Yes.
All right.
630 or 649, there are 5 trees. Tree 1 is the first one. That is a dead 22-inch caliper white ash. That's located in the 25-foot no disturb zone. And tree 2 is a 28-inch caliper red maple, which is a fall hazard. That one has a large crack at the base, so I would think that one probably wouldn't be a good candidate for a snag. It may be possible, and again, we'll talk to Maltby Tree, who did the assessment of the trees on site. Tree 4 is a 14-inch red maple that has severe decay, and a lot of that's at the base as well. And then there is a 12-inch caliper snag, which is tree 6, which is located just on the fringe of the 25-foot buffer zone. That one is in poor shape, and it's got a significant amount of bittersweet that's basically killed the tree. And then tree 7 is a 26-inch caliper red oak. That one is rotted and failing at the base. So again, I think that one might not be a good snag candidate, but I think, certainly the 2 on 631, and there's a couple of them on this site that I think could be left as snags.
So do we have any photos of these, Clay? Maybe?
One thing I'd like to point out too, the wetland area is basically bisected by, there's a drain and sewer easement that runs through this wetland, and it's a lot of turf lawn as well. So it's not a pristine wetland in some locations, that's for sure.
Okay, so do you want to talk about these photos, or would you prefer Clay talk about the photos since he probably took them?
I think it might be better if Clay talks about them, if he was the person taking the pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna pull the plan to my other screen so I can reference what we're looking at here. This is a photo kind of going down the property from South Street where that sewer easement is. You can see that the wetland is kind of segmented on both sides. It extends 631 would be over on this side and 649 would be over here. On the plan, this shot is pretty much right here, looking down that sewer line. So you
Okay,
can see where this is kind of pocketed on this side and this is pocketed over here, and it's just kind of this bump out. When you look down this photo, I believe this is the red maple, tree number 4, 14-inch, and just behind here, you can almost see it. I've got a better picture coming up, but that's the red maple that's leaning and is definitely rotted out of the base. This is a photo of the white ash, just on the boundary, just outside the wetland. It's dead going up. There was no foliage up top. This is that red maple that's leaning. This red maple, you can see from this angle, you can see right through. And on the other side, there's another photo that shows just how rotted out the other side is. That red maple is this tree right here in the wetland. As you can see, it's leaning out over over the other trees, over that sewer easement area. From back here, this is the American elm. As you can see, it's a dead tree. That's the one over at 631. This here, I believe, that's the red maple here.
Yep.
Going down that sewer easement. You can see it was a codominant stem. It had rotted out a bit. I couldn't tell the integrity of the base of the tree here, but of course I'm not an arborist myself. This is more zoomed out of that same tree, that red maple over the easement. Red maple that was in the wetland with the rotted base. This is the other side. Again, you can see through and it leans out. This is essentially the entrance to that wetland. There's a drain pipe that feeds into that wetland. From here, you can see the red oak is standing up over here. And over here is the stand of the red maple snag that's covered in bittersweet. From other angles, this is that red oak. And it also is a codominant stem that cracked out. It's pretty much rotted through that area. This is just another shot kind of the wetland from the opposite side. Again, that's the sewer easement. That drain pipe inlets, outlets over here, and then it kind of divides, and the rest of the wetland is located over on this side.
is that all of them?
So, yeah.
Thanks, Clay. Can you have, yeah. Oh, Artie's back. Great.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard the whole thing.
oh, good. I'm glad. I was hoping you were going to hear it. So, I mean, we definitely,
Yeah, I've heard the whole one.
it's definitely taking trees out of the wetlands definitely is something that makes us anxious. And so understanding either that you can keep snags or that you are definitely keeping the roots of the trees, or the tree, if they're cut at the base because they are so rotted out, will the trunk of the tree be left there for wildlife habitat? And maybe this is all written in your report, but.
We talked a little bit about this. Certainly the bases of the trees will be left. We won't grind any stumps or remove any stumps. Anything that can, I think, safely be left as a snag, we'd be happy to do. And again, we'll do, while we're waiting for DEP file numbers, get a little bit of clarification from Maltby and find out which ones safely can be and which ones they feel should be removed. And, certainly as far as the removal goes, they'd all be lifted out in sections by crane, basically to minimize any disturbance, in and around the wetland area. So the removal will be done as delicately as possible. And I don't see any issue with leaving some of the fallen logs, if you will. But I'd like to confirm that with the owner as well, just to make sure that they know what they're getting there. So we can also report back to you, or if we could report back to staff about that too. We'll get answers to all those questions.
What about the invasive species? Is there any plan to work with, try to get rid of some of those so that they don't kill more trees?
I think if it's possible to remove some of the bittersweet, we'd certainly like to be able to do that. I don't remember what else there was. I think when I've worked on this project for 2 or 3 notices of intent now, and I know there were some knotweed issues in that area before too. And I know we had, as part of previous orders, the owner was certainly more than happy to remove that as well.
Janet, may I step in? Do you mind if you step in for just a minute? Matters.
I'm just gonna invite you.
Why are we even talking about this? They're not hazard trees to a house. They're in the wetland. And so why are we talking about this?
Well, I understand that there's 2 properties that are owned by 2 family members that cross through this area, and it's actually a sewer easement that happens to have wetlands on both sides of it.
Okay.
So,
But there's no hazard to anything, any house, any property.
I think the hazard is to the people that are crossing through it, through the sewer easement.
But we've never.
Right. I
was going to ask too, it looks like from those photos that is somebody mowing in the middle of the wetlands on the sewer easement. It looks like the sewer easement has been maintained as far as mowing goes. Is that correct?
That's correct. That sewer easement is and has been turf lawn for, again, I've been working on this property for almost 10 years now through a few different notices. It's been, that area has been altered and it is presently mowed. I do think that
homeowners know that, not the town, right?
Not the town.
I believe so, yeah. And I do think that, certainly we're sensitive to the proximity of the trees being within and adjacent to wetlands and certainly within buffer zones and resource areas. But looking at the photos, I think it's pretty clear that a lot of these trees are hazards. I do think some of them, if they did fall, would be capable of hitting the house at 631, maybe not the house at 649. But again, I'm going on the arborist recommendation of, and that's their area of specialty, not mine, but looking at the potential just for a fall, even if there's somebody in the area when they fall, I think that's a legitimate concern.
I don't, Janet, I think I truly think there's a conversation within us. I don't understand why we're talking about.
Well, I think when
I
somebody,
just don't.
somebody issues submits a notice of intent, it is,
So we can talk about it.
talk about it.
Okay,
We
we can
talk about
it. Yes. So we've been presented stuff. So, I mean, I'm still confused of why I get that we're talking about it, but I certainly don't know why we're even remotely debating what snags should be left. But regardless of even if we allow any tree to be cut, which we would never do in some wetland area.
Well, maybe this is worth a site visit so that we can have a better understanding of what the applicant is asking for.
I mean, we could, but I mean, we've seen the area. I mean, we've seen the easement through it, which is still within the wetland. Technically, we see it's being mowed when I guess technically it shouldn't be mowed, but okay, that's neither here nor there at this particular moment for this conversation, the trees, but although maybe it is because it's wetland. it's trees fall in wetland. We let trees fall in wetland. We
Yep.
want trees fall in wetland. We want that to happen. We want snags. If anything has to be removed, if it's happened to be too close to us, we will always leave a snag.
Right, well, I totally hear you. So let's see if any other commission members have any other comments. Peter?
Yes, I was also puzzled about this set of requests, particularly when the language in the application used words like removal, as if that's something that we would allow, or that's something that's actually permitted in our bylaws. And I think the alternative analysis presented didn't even consider things like leaving snags or leaving things well enough alone. So I think there are some problems in the application itself, but I agree that this is I think the notion that we would remove these trees is problematic. I think the only argument I can see is if one of the hazard trees can be confirmed as presenting a danger to one of the houses. I think that's probably legitimate. But the other ones I also have a problem with.
Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, said my piece about the mowing of the wetland, and, it seems odd that the abutters would mow this. There's woods on either side, and the part that they're mowing, I'm not sure why they're trying to maintain lawn there. It's not really contiguous to their lawn. And again, this goes against really everything we're trying to do with encouraging the wetlands to obtain a natural state. So it's very odd. A little troubled about it.
Bill?
I was wondering if you could just briefly talk a little bit about access, what you need for equipment to get down there, to removal of the trees. Access off the road, looks like there's an elevation change. Is going to be any filling needed to get any equipment down there?
I actually think that as I mentioned, that it's probably going to be a climber and it's going to be a crane. And I think the crane would probably be parked in the front yard of 649. I don't know if there's enough swing room at 631, but I think, the sections would be cut, dropped in the front yard of 649, where they'd be, cut and hauled away from there. So I think everything could be done. It's possible it could be done from the road to South Street, but I would think it'd be better to do it on property, just for the safety of vehicle traffic on South Street.
And the other thought, does the easement specify maintenance within that easement? Sometimes these easements documentation on the deed will specify that you have to maintain that area, maybe free from vegetation for access for maintenance or anything like that.
Well, I don't think there's any strong language in there. There are structures and pipes in there. So I would think, for your DPW's sake, you'd probably want that as clear and as accessible as possible, which again, probably historically why it's been maintained and mowed. There are structures and there are pipes, both drain and sewer in that easement. And they've been there for years. So I think that, again, I totally understand your regs and your sentiment for wetlands. I respect that. I just think this is not a very pristine wetland. So I just think that topographically.
Is there any way the root infiltration could compromise the sewer or the drain easements?
Well, I think that's always a possibility with some of these trees. I mean, a few of them are located, either within that easement or just 5 or 6 feet off the sideline of the easement. These are fairly substantial trees.
Okay, thank you.
Sue, do you have anything to add?
I was just going to say, I think a site visit might be a good idea to affirm whether these trees are a hazard.
And maybe get
And
a
how close-
better sense of the properties.
I think
As
so
I-
too.
And so I see that Emily has her hand up, so I'll let you speak if you'd like.
Hi, sorry for the technical difficulties earlier.
No.
I did just want to
Oh,
bring.
I'm sorry. You were supposed to say your name for the record.
Oh, sorry. My name is Emily Petro, and I am the Conservation Coordinating Permitter for Metro West Engineering in Framingham. I did just want to bring up a point of discussion. Feel free to discuss that under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, mowing is considered a minor activity, not subject to jurisdiction. I don't know if that, there's more scrutiny under the local bylaw, but that is something I believe should be considered, guys, to discuss, because yeah, so.
Anybody else have anything to add at this time? Either the applicant or any of the commission members at this moment?
Janet, could we pull up just the overview site again that shows the easement and where it goes, where it's coming from, going to, for a second?
On the base plan?
Yeah. The overhead. Then at the same time, after this, so the dotted line is in essence the easement. Is that when I'm looking at I'm dash line, the dash line?
Correct.
That's
So
correct.
the dash line is the easement. Okay. Could you, so it's going up and over and it's continuing. Could you pull up that photo again of the showing the mowed area for a second? No, that one.
This one right there, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like the easement is being precise, maintained throughout the whole corridor. I mean, if you go past this mowed area, it's going to be a little more wooded, a little more brushed and so forth. So I think the issue of trees infiltrating the sewer line in this case is not a big thing of conversation, because I don't think the whole easement is made that way because of that concern. So that's all. Just wanted to look at that for a second.
Yep. You can take that photo down. Thank you, Clay. So anybody else in the audience have anything to add? I think, you hear that we definitely have concerns, and I think probably a site visit would be appropriate. And is there anybody in the house? Do we need to go together? Can we just swing by and look at it individually if we so desired?
I think that's up to you guys. I'll
Well, if
confirm
there's
with
a
the owner.
homeowner
I've been to the house a bunch of times. I don't think there's anybody there, at least through the end of the summer. If I could be there with some or all of you, I think that'd be great, just to make sure we're all on the same page. But if that doesn't work out, that's not the end of the world either.
Okay, so we'll see if we can work that out. I think, there are definitely concerns as far as if we keep moving forward with this, keeping snags, keeping fallen logs, not taking out any roots. Is there any tree replacement planned?
There isn't. That was one of the things I actually asked the owner about right before jumping on the call tonight, and they would certainly be amenable to plants. Maybe some red maples or something that would kind of tolerate the wetlands. Maybe some red maples come to mind, or some swamp white oaks, or something that's going to tolerate the environment. But there's certainly no issue with that from the owner's perspective.
And our policy is basically 2 trees for every 1 tree. It's not necessarily the same when it's a hazard tree, but as I already mentioned, it's hard to appreciate that it's a hazard when it's in the middle of the woods. So maybe when we see it, we'll have a better sense of that. But
I think that's a good idea, because the trees are in close proximity to some of the lawn and some of the area on both properties. For me, I would just have a bit of anxiety with leaving a tree that's a hazard, and especially one that's been called out by an arborist, and you know, if something were to happen and it were to fall while somebody was out in the yard or whatever, I just think, to me, that's, you know, that's a tough one for me to swallow. But again, I understand the commission has their policies, so we'll try to see what we can do to land in the middle.
Okay. We can plan a site visit if anybody is interested in doing that. Anybody have anything else to add before we try to arrange that site visit? Are people around?
One request I might make, in case there are people on the commission that can't be there present when Brian is there with us, that maybe Brian could wrap the trees to be proposed to be taken down with some flagging, so that it's obvious if somebody drives by which trees you're talking about.
They were flagged with green ribbon, but we can freshen that up, or maybe put something that's a little bit more,
Like pink
you
or
know,
orange.
eye popping, something that'll, you know, catch your eye easier.
It's 7 trees in all.
That's correct.
So commission members, what do you think? I happen to be going on vacation on Saturday. Won't return for like Saturday to Saturday. So
You can't
I
postpone
could-
that, Janet?
yeah. So I could, I mean, people could go without me, which would be fine, and I could swing by and look at it on my own another time. Or I could go like on Sunday, the 22nd. Which maybe is not, you know, the preferred day for anybody. Does anybody have want to throw anything out as timing? Do people just want to go by when you have a minute and drive by? What are you thinking?
I would prefer a weekday myself. And you know, you can go by whenever you want, I guess, and it sounds like you've seen it. I mean,
Yeah,
I know,
I prefer a weekday as well.
okay, so what day works for you guys?
Any early morning for me.
Yeah, or any early morning here.
Same.
Early morning, great. Pick a day.
Monday through Friday.
Wednesday?
As
Wednesday?
Wednesday works.
Wednesday's fine.
Wednesday's fine.
Wednesday's good, the 18th,
Okay.
right?
Wednesday, August 18th. How early in the morning?
7:30.
7 works
Okay.
for me if you guys want to do early.
Nobody's living in the house, so we're not like waking somebody up.
Even if we are, we'll be far enough away from their principal residence that I don't think will be too loud and disturbing them.
Okay. Sue, 7 o'clock?
That's fine.
Okay, August 18th, 7 o'clock a.m. And this is a site visit. We cannot actually discuss anything about it. It's just to see what's there. You can share your information, but it's not a discussion among the commission members, but it will not be an open hearing. So now we will continue this until August 26th. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
So move. Second.
Just to point, out, you need 2 motions because they are 2 notice of intents.
Oh, okay, so we need a motion for 631 South Street to continue to August 26th.
So moved.
Second.
And I get all in favor. So Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill, Artie,
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. And a motion for 649 South Street to continue to August 26th.
Actually, Wednesday's the 18th. Did you say
Yeah.
19th?
No, I said
Wednesday.
I thought you
18th.
said 18th. Yeah.
18th.
August 18th.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Yeah, aye, great. Thank you very much. So most of the commission will see you on Wednesday at August 18th at 7 a.m. I will go by on my own at another point and check it out before the next hearing.
Okay. Appreciate your time
Great.
tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you heard our concerns so that you will think about invasive species, snags, plantings, all that stuff. Great, thank you very much. 68 Wilshire Park, DP file number has not been issued yet, so we can open this hearing. Wilshire Park, Susan McCarthy?
Yes, Susan MacArthur.
McCarthy, so, oh, sorry, Adam Pace?
He is on.
Hi.
You can hear us, okay. And
Yep.
Connor?
How you doing?
Okay, so you can all hear us and we can hear you, great. So this is, again, we have no DP file number yet, so we are able to open this hearing, but we cannot close the hearing. Please don't ask us to close the hearing because we won't. And who would like to speak for the applicant? And please state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Susan MacArthur from MacArthur Environmental Consulting, and I will present. Can I share my screen?
Yes, because Clay, we're not able to get Clay your board, is that?
I didn't see the email till later about coloring it up, and so I did it this afternoon. So.
Okay.
All right, so this is, we filed a notice of intent for 68 Wilshire Park. The property is 1.7 acres. It contains a single family home with an attached garage, bituminous driveway, patio pavers up front. There's planting beds in the back on the slope, and a maintained lawn down below. The topography at the site is fairly level up front, at the front of the house. And then just behind the house, it steeply drops. You can see the contour lines. I can zoom in a little bit. So it steeply drops in the back, where it levels out to this lawn area. And there is a 5-foot concrete pipe that runs parallel to the back property line, and it conveys flow of an intermittent stream in a kind of southeasterly direction. The bank kind of comes around like this, was flagged, as well as a very small portion of bordering vegetated wetland, kind of marginal, but does come close to the back fence there. And so the proposed project consists of constructing a new addition in an area that currently is the deck. There's a back deck here, as well as a patio just below the deck, below the addition, excuse me, and a proposed deck right off the back of the house here. Right now, as I said, this is all planting beds, and I can show you photos in a minute. So the addition is approximately 340 square feet, and the proposed patio will be, as I said, below that, be about 360 square feet. And this raised deck will have stairs that will lead down to the patio, kind of like this is like a little landing because of the steepness. It'll wrap around to get to the patio pavers here. And below that, we're proposing plantings, rhododendron and boxwood, and also some plantings along the back fence line, red maple right now we're thinking. In the narrative, I had said that they may have to take out an ash tree. The homeowner wants to save that, so I think it can be avoided. It's not shown on the plan, but it's like down here, but they're not going to take it out. They're not going to take it out now. And we are also proposing to install a dry well. It may be here, or it might be underneath the patio itself, it will be perforated pipes wrapped in filter fabric in crushed stone, which the patio pavers will sit on anyway. And prior to any land disturbance, an erosion control barrier will be installed around the perimeter of the property. So all of the work is proposed, well, a portion, I should say, is proposed within the 50-foot buffer. All the work is within the 100-foot buffer, which is this purple line here. And a very small portion of this patio is going to fall within the 25-foot buffer zone. And I did submit a waiver with the application for this work. There is this right here is an existing, Adam, what would you call it? Like a
It's like a stone wall. That's
oh, it's a stone wall. Okay, there's a stone wall that exists today, so that'll just be rebuilt once they install these plants. So that's already there. And I think that is it. If anybody has any questions. Oh, I can show you the photos. Might help a little bit.
Yep.
For some reason, I can't get the photos to come up. Clay, did you go out there?
I went out there.
Oh,
And, yeah, Clay, you have a bunch of pictures that I sent to you.
Yeah, I can pull those up.
okay.
Thanks, Clay. So that's the view from the deck is up above. So that's looking from the, it's hard to tell how steep that is, but it's very steep. So that's the planting beds up on the slope, and then down the bottom, that's the existing lawn area.
So there's a fence in this photo. Is the fence on the plan?
I believe so.
Is
Yeah.
that the ash tree that you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's beneath the existing deck. That is the existing deck.
Is the existing deck coming down?
Yes.
That's where the addition's going, right?
Right.
Oh, okay, that's the addition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where's
So-
where's the present stone wall?
It's at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Can you see it with the picture,
You
Clay?
can see when you look down the slope, I believe, well,
In your picture, Susan, that you had, I think it showed a little bit in that one.
yeah, I just had trouble getting the photo on the screen.
So the patio is going on the slope, on the existing slope?
Yes, so the slope will have to be cut. We approximate that 450 cubic feet of soil will need to be excavated. So it'll be a cut into the slope to have that level patio installed.
Are you done with your presentation?
Yes.
All right, so let's go through the commission members and see who has comments at this stage. Peter, you have any questions?
Yes, that tiny corner will be a sticking point now, because it's new impervious within the 25, which isn't technically allowed. Even, I mean, I understand that there's the waiver, but is there any possibility of pervious pavers instead of impervious?
So I'm the landscape contractor and designer. We could either go pervious or we could do a kitty corner of that angle. Either one would work for us. Adam, I don't know how you feel about those options, but those are the two options we currently have, I think.
I honestly don't candidly know the difference between the pervious and impervious, but I trust your take, and we don't want to do anything to disturb the wetlands. So.
I just sent a couple pictures to Clay via email that would show that area where that wall.
Okay. Artie, you have any?
No, the only thing that would be nice to see in a little bit more aerial view, not aerial view down, from up above down to the area, the lower area of the lawn, that area, to see what it's actually like right now. And I can appreciate the fact that it had been lawn. I can appreciate the fact that we try to recover some of that. I can appreciate, I think it was Peter, I think Peter mentioned the sticking point is, that corner and how we don't want to use the word surrender, give away or surrender part of the actual wetland. At least we could recover, keep or recover the 25-foot area. So it'd be nice to see what it looks like now and what we're talking about.
Yeah, when Clay pulls up the pictures, I think you'll have a better idea of at least the wall area down there.
Yeah, I've refreshed my notes. I'm just waiting for my.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep going through the commission. Stephen, you have any questions or comments at this stage?
No comment.
Bill?
Just a couple of things. You say you have to do a 450-yard cut. Where's that fill going to go? Or fill? Is it cut or fill?
It's cubic feet. And
I'm sorry, cubic feet, yeah. Cubic
yeah.
feet, right. Cut
Yeah.
is cut or fill?
It's cut. It's cut into the slope to level.
What are you gonna do with the fill? It doesn't look easy getting in and out of there. Is there gonna use trucks or excavators to get rid of that fill? Or?
Yeah, it's going to be all cut, so we're going to get rid of the actual the fill, and then dispose of it off-site.
It just looks like the logistics of getting trucks back there. I mean, do you have any room to get any equipment down there?
Yeah, it'll be difficult, but it's doable. So we're not gonna dump anything on site. It'll be all dumped off-site.
Okay. The location of that dry well. When I look at the contours of that land out there, it looks like that land was filled in before. That it's not natural soils. Do we know what the soils are out there?
Yeah, the soils are classified as Merrimack Urban Land Complex, 0 to 8% slopes. They are A soils, soil group A, so well drained, and we approximate that with the patio and the new addition that there'll be for a 2-inch storm event. It'll be about generate 35 cubic feet of runoff that it will need to hold.
I didn't see the elevations. What's the elevation at the bottom of the slab, the foundation for the addition?
I think the bottom of the patio will be elevation 87, around there.
87.
Yeah.
And the dry well will obviously go below that elevation.
Will be below that, yeah.
And then you put it awful close to the foundation. That's why it looked like it was very close.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 10. It has to be at least 10 feet away from the building, from the structure. So the patio is sitting below, further down. So it should be far enough.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Sue?
Yes. I think in the past, I know in the past, we've tried to be so consistent about no corners coming into the 25-foot. I have a problem with that, with the corner of the patio coming into the 25-foot. And in addition is rebuilding the stone wall in the 25-foot. I'm assuming it would have the same footings. Anyway, that's how I feel.
That's correct. The new the new wall will be built within the same footprint. It's just going to be disturbed as part of the construction of the patio, so they're going to need to take it down and then rebuild it back up.
Okay, I do have an issue with a corner going into the 25, only because we've always tried to be so consistent and fair with that.
Understood.
Did I get all the commission members? I just have a couple of other questions. So what are you proposing for your erosion controls on that steep slope?
I spec'd out compost filter tubes or equivalent.
Any specific diameter? It's a very steep slope, so I think we probably need better.
Yeah, in fact, good point. I mean, maybe compost filter tubes aren't going to work on that slope. Yeah, we should probably think about straw bales or, you know, and silt fence.
That would probably be better. Yep.
Okay. All right.
And did you provide calculations for this dry well? You described it in a different way and it just kind of is a circle in the plan. And are there calculations someplace?
I have calculations that I did. I haven't submitted them though.
Okay, so we need to submit those calculations.
Okay.
And in a detail, you have a detail on the erosion controls, and a detail in your calculation of your stormwater structure with a detail of what that's going to look like.
Okay.
You need to get the corner out of the 25 foot. I think everybody said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still a little confused about the rebuilding of the stone wall. Is it gonna?
Clay, if you want to put those pictures up, I think that would be helpful.
You get them, Clay? Yep.
Yeah, maybe the other one closer up.
So this play structure, is that in the 25 foot? This is the wall. So this wall is basically at the 25 foot, it's in the 25 foot.
The wall is within.
I think most of it is.
Most of it is within.
And you're it's gonna look like a lot of rocks that are kind of reconfigured into a wall. It's not going to be like a poured concrete wall when you're done. What is that? Is it going to really be a recreation of these rocks, or is it going to be something more than that?
Connor could answer that.
Right now, we have more spec'd out than what that wall is. So more of a structurally sound wall than that.
So thank you for this photo. Now can you take it back down again? So it's hard to see the people and see the photos at the same time. So what does the commission feel about, everybody commented about the patio being in the 25 foot, but what do we feel about this wall being reconstructed, which is also within the 25 foot and is not going to actually be rocks that are piled on top of each other? Anybody want to jump in on that one? Artie,
Could we recap? Okay, so the wall was going to be reconstructed right at that same point, is what it sounds like. That's what
yes.
right now. Okay, so it was being reconstructed at that point because it was going to help level off the land on the other side of that point. Just confirm a patio was going to be on the outside of that wall. The wall was going to be raised. Can we just confirm what was happening right there?
And maybe pull the plan back up.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, there's a stone wall basically where? Can you move your cursor where that stone wall currently is?
It should be right where that is showing.
Does it also go along the property line like that?
Well, the property line is back here. That's the property line down
On
here.
the side.
No, but the side property line.
Oh, the side. I don't think so, but Adam, you could speak. to
No,
that.
no, that's part of the slope right now on there. The wall goes along the bottom line there.
Yeah, so it's just a natural slope on the side. Just
So,
blends into the next
so,
property.
so part of the slope is in the 25-foot line right now. The wall is in the 25-foot line right now. So, I mean, it's clear the homeowner cares about what's going on. I mean, I think that's painful. Cares about what they're doing to the property and the environment and everything, and every aspect related to that. But it also sounds like that wall wants to be reconstructed and the land leveled off or somewhere like that to create a sitting area or something. I'm not sure. What are those circles again? Just confirm what those circles, those gray circles.
Plantings. They're
Plant-
plantings. So this
okay.
This patio will have a, edging around it to keep it in place. It'll be tiered, kind of, tiered down.
Okay. So, Janet, is there, or is board members, not counting that really small corner that's pure patio? I mean, I know we don't like that. Is there any way to have allowance, since there's going to be planters? Normally we use the phrase rain garden. Is there any way to leave I'm going to use that phrase, rain garden, in that tiered area? How do we feel about that? Because I know we're not anxious to, lose 25 foot, to have a solid construction within 25 foot. So what do we think? What are our thoughts? I'm thinking, I'm visually, I'm thinking rain garden or something like that. A planting area, which is in essence a rain garden, and then but the wall itself, solid, not solid, I'm not sure right now, but something that's resembling a rain garden wherever those planters are. That's my view.
Not a bad thought. You can take this plan down, I think, for a minute, so we can.
Okay.
What does the applicant's team think about creating more of a rain garden instead of a rhododendron planting line? So that you're actually improving some plantings that could be closer to the wetlands, and you could consider it part of your stormwater management, maybe.
I was going to say we could direct, rather than doing the dry well, we could certainly direct the stormwater, the rooftop runoff, as well as the patio runoff, to the rain garden if we do a rain garden, if that's what the commission would prefer.
Well, it would almost look like it'd be a two-tier rain garden, Janet. Is that like
it could, if they wanted to design it as such, that I think is something that I would probably be okay with. Any other commission members have any feeling about either I think we have agreed that the corner is not great. We really are trying to not have a lot of work within the 25 foot. You do already have a slope and lawn there, so that gives some allowance on that end, but not having too much more impervious is definitely, we try to discourage impervious in the 25 foot. So a wall definitely becomes kind of impervious. So I don't know, any other commission members have a feeling about Artie's suggestion of a rain garden?
Dan?
Yep, Sue?
It sounds like two tiers there. If in the first tier you could do a rain garden, in the second tier you could do the rhododendrons, I kind of as a compromise.
Well, the first tier I think is a patio. I think that's where their patio is.
There were two rows. Okay, but there were 2 rows of rhododendrons.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that being the first tier, and then the rhododendrons below.
Yeah. You could almost do a rose garden.
The road
a rain garden.
Yeah, the rain
Uh,
garden here and the rhododendrons there. Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah. I mean, that would look pretty with the roadies in the back.
Yep, so that's something to consider. Peter, you have any opinion?
Yeah, I share your concerns about the highly engineered kind of poured concrete wall going in there, which I think probably makes sense for engineering reasons, but not for our purposes. So the more natural that can be, I think the better off. I think I would feel better about it anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I see why it's a steep slope and they're gonna wanna hold it back with something, but trying to hold it back outside the 25 foot will be kind of the goal at hand. Stephen, you have anything? Who is that?
Just,
Oh,
yeah,
Robin.
the contractor here. So we would be building that wall out of block and crushed stone. So it would be a totally infiltrating system. Any water would drain right through, and it would be no concrete involved, totally block and crushed stone, dry lid.
That's good. Stephen, you have anything to add? Any other comments, questions?
Not really, no.
Bill?
No comment.
And Artie, anything more?
Just, I mean, when you say block, I take it you mean stone block, not like concrete block per se. In visually stone,
You mean like a Versalock wall or something like that?
something like
Yeah.
that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, block is means many things, but Allen block is kind of the go-to for us for walls like this, which is it's a poured concrete block, but it's also it's just a nice looking block wall.
Well,
Or-
I think adding a detail or showing some pictures of what you think that wall will look like would be helpful to us. Does any commission members feel they need to do a site visit at this property?
No.
Okay, so we do need to continue it. I think you heard some of our concerns. I think one of the other items was, I understand that you issued this under a minor activity and that each of the projects proposed are at a different minor activity. So it's not just one minor activity because it's it's actually quite a bit. So you have the patio is a minor activity and a wall is a minor activity. And if there's an addition, it's a minor activity. So there's multiple minor activities. So you can work with Deb or Clay on exactly what that looks like as far as if there's an additional fee that goes along with minor activity. And if all of the paperwork is in, including working within the 25-foot no disturb zone, which you obviously are. So I don't know, was there a waiver requested for that? Well, I don't
There
know if
was
there's
a waiver requested, but we didn't get the waiver fee.
waiver fee for working within the 25-foot no disturb zone. So I want to make sure that all your paperwork is in, and it seems like this site, it seems comparable to when we talked about earlier at Rolling Green, with the steep slope for the test pit. I'm assuming that I am kind of listening to what Bill was saying about getting equipment down there. Was that Bill? So that it's like, so there's a few logistical things that I think we're all struggling with. So if you could try to get us some clarity so that we understand, and if you can do a test pit, that would be great, even if it's a shallow one in the grass at the bottom of that stone wall. You might be able to dig a hole and tell us what it looks like, because your system will be above that, I assume. And all of those various things that we talked about. Did we get them all? Calculations, stone wall example, erosion control,
Checks.
checks. You're
The-
keeping ash tree. Potentially
corner-
consider.
Quick question, the corner by the, where that corner does intersect the line, if we kitty corner that, would that be okay?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep, so you can talk about it. I love the idea of permeable pavement patio. That's always a good option. We would want a detail of that if that's your choice. I think it's a good choice for this particular project, but it's kind of up to you too.
Yep, easy, yep.
Anybody in the audience have anything to ask or questions? Like, I lost Clay.
Mostly raised hands.
Okay. And Deb and Clay, you have anything else to add here?
No, I think you covered everything.
I have a quick question. So if they were to propose the pervious pavers for the patio, would that allow them to then leave the design as is with that corner?
No, corner comes in.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Okay.
But it might reduce the need for a dry well, but you will want to propose any calculations because depending on the size of the addition in the patio, the town has stormwater regulations. And if you are a certain percentage over the existing impervious on the property, you have to do different steps. There's various calculations that go along with that. So you want to check to make sure you are within the town's stormwater because it goes to the building permit. So when you ask for a building permit, they will say, did you do this, this, and this? And you need to make sure that the percentages increase over what you have under existing conditions determines the level of stormwater that you need to include. So your calculation should back that up. And if you have a permeable pavement patio, then it will takes out the patio as part of the equation. And if you're able to direct some of your a little bit of an addition into that permeable pavement and you size it appropriately, you just have to do the calculations.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody in your team have any more questions? The applicant have any questions?
I guess the only question would be in terms of process. So assuming, we go back and we talk through these things that were brought up as part of the hearing, would this be something that's considered as part of the next hearing coming up or the next iteration?
Yep. If you'd like us to, we will continue this to the August 26th hearing. You would have to have any new information provided to us 1 week prior.
Got it.
Does that work for your team? 1 week?
I think so.
I think so.
Solve all those problems in a week. Okay, so I need a motion to continue this 68 Wilshire Park. I mean, you need a DP file number anyway, so hopefully you'll get one in the next 2 weeks. Continue this till August 26th.
So move.
Have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Peter?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
See you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next project, which does have a file number, is 170 Whitman Street, DEP file number 234871. It's a notice of intent and oops, where's my list? 170 Whitman. Julia?
Yep.
Julia
Hi.
and Rich Kirby?
Rich is not here tonight. I'll be presenting for him.
Okay. Brian Tim?
Yes, nice to see you, and I'm so glad that you did find the DEP file number. I saw the roll call and I said, oh, let me check really quick, and glad you beat me to the punch.
Yeah, you are a winner. The only one since the last day in July or something. Joe Slyman, you're also part of this?
That's correct, yes.
You are the owner applicant. Okay, you can all hear us. You can all speak. They're all good. Rich is not here. Great. Okay, who is going to present? And please state your name for the record.
All right. My name is Julia Hogeboom from LEC Environmental Consultants. and we're going to be discussing our project at 170 Whitman Road. It's a property that's located north of the Charles River in the southwest portion of Needham. So actually, if someone, Clay or Debbie, if you could pull up the plans, that would be helpful to go over those. And if you don't mind just zooming in a little bit, that would be great as well. Thank you. So while he's getting that all zoomed in for us, you'll see that the northern portion of the property contains a single family dwelling. And off the rear of that dwelling is an existing 3-tiered wooden deck. And if you scroll down, you'll see that the southern portion of the property consists mostly of lawn. There are wooded areas on either side of the property boundaries. Those wooded areas consist of rows of eastern white pine and weeping spruce. But there is a forested upland in that southwestern corner of the property.
I'm sorry, what did you say? There's a what?
There is a forested upland in the southwestern corner of the property.
Thanks, sorry.
Yep. So if you're looking at the plans, it's the left bottom corner. And there's also a forested wetland in that corner as well. The forested wetland continues off-site to the south and transitions into more of a wet meadow along the bank to the Charles. That portion of the Charles is more of a slow-moving backwater, so it eventually flows southeast to be part of the main channel of the river. So those resource areas place the buffer zones onto the project footprint. The 200-foot riverfront area extends from the bank, and the 100-foot buffer zone extends from the BBW.
And what's the 107 contour that's so?
Say that again?
The 107 contour that's so bold?
Yeah, so that's, we also have bordering land subject to flooding. And so that one is the limit of the 100-year floodplain. The top skinny dashed line is the 200-foot riverfront area. And the one below that one is the 100-foot buffer zone.
Great.
So we are proposing to remove those existing rear decks and to replace the decks with an in-ground pool and patio. The patio will be elevated above the existing grade and supported by a 4-foot high retaining wall. And a wooden deck and landing will provide access to the patio from the first floor of the dwelling. And an additional wooden landing will provide access from the dwelling's basement on the east side of the dwelling to the backyard. And so we are also proposing a native landscaping area around the proposed pool and patio. And to accommodate the pool and patio, we're proposing minor site grading. So many of these activities, specifically the pool, the patio, the deck, and the landscape area, are exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act because they're located more than 50 feet away from the bank and the BBW boundary. And those activities may also be exempt from the Needham bylaw because they're located over 75 feet from the resource, the BBW and bank to the Charles. However, the site grading is not exempt. So we did design the project to be located in the outer 200-foot riverfront area regardless. And all of the work is proposed outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, except for our proposed erosion controls. So those will consist of 12-inch straw wattles, and they do cross into the 100-foot buffer zone along that southern limit of work there. And in regards to that native landscape area, it will be a mulched landscape area, but all of the plants that we choose will be native to Middlesex County and will still provide wildlife habitat. So pollen and nectar sources for native species, pollinators specifically. And to access the proposed construction area, there will be a temporary construction access way extending from the existing driveway. It'll wrap around the house and move south to the proposed project footprint. So that's pretty much it. We are proposing stormwater management for the increase in impervious area. So I will pass that off to Brian Tim so that he can explain about that in detail, and we'll be happy to answer any questions after that. So thank you.
Thank you, Julia. To introduce myself again, Brian Tim with RJ O'Connell and Associates, project engineer and professional engineer for the project. Also to my left here is one of our staff members, Drew Gallant, who helped design this project as well. Not going to go into too much detail. You guys have had a long night already and probably a little bit ahead of you, and we don't need to get too much into this with the drainage. But in short, we do have an above ground pool, believe it or not, that we're actually setting above the existing grade. So you'll see that the proposed deck or the patio around the pool is at elevation 113. I don't know, Clay, if you can just kind of show everybody the 113 numbers there. When you look underneath, you'll see the grade of the existing yard is at 109 and 110. So essentially we're going to be filling this whole area by approximately 4 feet. Because we know the groundwater is extremely high near the surface throughout this site, being so close to the Charles River, being what is it here? I'm not going to be able to pronounce this correctly from the NRCS, a SCIO, S-C-I-O, very fine sandy loam type of soil. Groundwater is going to be down probably 12 to 18 inches. So what we're doing here is we're raising it up, and then you'll see a thick black colored kind of U that's surrounding the area. That's a retaining wall. Nope, that's a retaining wall. It's going to be 4 feet high, and it's going to hold up all this area here. So we're mounting this up against the house. It works out really, really well with the floor elevations of the existing house being up around 118.6, 116.6. So we drop down there. What this allows us to do, we're actually going to be putting a drainage system on the proposed patio with a series of drains installed sporadically throughout, because it's going to be fairly level. So it's going to be, we need to direct water to those. Water is going to enter those drains, and we're going to be connecting each of those drains to each other by a perforated pipe set in a bed of stone. So as a whole, when we look at this site, we're going to be increasing the amount of impervious surface from existing conditions to the developed conditions by approximately 650 square feet. And that's being conservative, assuming the proposed pool is impervious, assuming the deck is impervious, both existing and proposed. Applying the 1 inch of runoff rule for small additions as required by the Needham Wetland regulations. We're going to be required to infiltrate 54 cubic feet of runoff. So when we actually designed these perforated pipes and the crushed stone trench, we're going to actually be providing 85 cubic feet of storage volume. 85 cubic feet provided, 54 feet cubic feet required. So we're at 1.5 times roughly. The bottom of this trench, because this whole area is raised, the bottom of the trench is going to be at elevation 110. You'll see that, you don't need to pan to that, but it's on the detail, it's very explicit. And as you can see, the existing grade's at 109. So again, we didn't do any test bits out there. I know you typically require that, but we're a foot above the existing grade. So I think that speaks for itself, Janet. But again, I don't want to overdo the design or presentation. I hope that that's pretty clear to everybody. Again, like Julia said, I'd love to reinforce that we really tried to keep it as tight as possible to the house to limit the amount of disturbance on the site and limit it to the limit of work with the proposed filter sock. And we're really only doing work above the 100-year buffers, sorry, the 100-foot buffer to the wetland. And we definitely were very, very cognizant of the 100-year floodplain, and we're not going to be filling in that at all. So I think I'd like to turn it over to the commission if anybody has any questions for any of us or anybody in the audience as well.
Thanks. Can you take the thing down? Now I gotta go back to my images. I somehow pinned you guys. How do I unpin you guys? I found it. I didn't know I could pin you, and all of a sudden there you are pinned. Okay, sorry. Anybody have any comments from the commission? Peter?
No comments.
Stephen?
No comment.
Artie?
Just really no comments, just a question. There's something stated about something was going to be done outside the 200-foot buffer zone. And Julia, I think you had mentioned something, and I'm not sure what you were. You had mentioned something was going to be outside of that, so it was exempt, but I'm not sure what you were referring to.
What? Will you say that again? Sorry, I didn't catch the first part of that.
I believe something was mentioned about. I believe you used the phrase something was going. I forget exactly, but something was going to be done outside the 200-foot buffer zone, so it was exempt anyway. I mean, you went through a well-detailed analysis of various things, but then you mentioned 200 feet outside of that, so it was exempt. What you were referring to?
Well, I think what I was saying is that the proposed patio, the pool, the landscape area, and the deck, since they're located more than 75 feet away from the bank to the river and and more than 75 feet away from the BBW, the Needham bylaws does say that those are exempt activities, but the commission likes to review those projects anyways. But and the site grading is not exempt.
And the driveway, didn't you say something about the driveway, which is outside?
Maybe that's what. Maybe you were referring to the driveway.
Julia, can I jump in really quick on that? Just because, so I believe there was a couple of different things said, and I did hear some of that. We're showing some construction access as well, Artie, that's coming around from the northern side of the building that then extends around the east side of the house. That's the only real access into this area. So we just showed that on the plan. It's outside the 200-foot riverfront area, but it is the only way we can not impact the wetlands or any trees or vegetation or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to get a little clarity in case I was missing something or didn't want anything misconstrued or misspoken, because there was clearly a lot of well thought out detail going into this, and so didn't want to leave anything like that hanging on the table. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Bill, do you have anything to add?
My only concern with pools is the backwashing, and sometimes you have to drain the pools. And I always like an area of some crushed rock or stone that as a discharge location, because you'll get erosion over time for that. So is there any area in that landscape area at the lower part of the wall that you could do put something that would disperse the water a little more evenly without?
Yeah, Mr. Murphy, some of the members of the team are not on the public hearing tonight. There's some of the architects as well as the builders on this. So they've talked with the town as well about this and the backwash, and they're very concerned about it. They're very experienced with pools. In fact, one of the members, I believe, is on a commission up in Salem as well. So my understanding is that they talk to the city and they're allowed to, as long as they allow it to, the chemicals to drain or to be open to the air and it dissipates, I guess. They're allowed to discharge into the sewer line.
Oh, into the sewer line.
As long as it's clear, and again, that was my understanding, and I believe I have it in my emails as well. I don't know. I can go look at it now, and I apologize. I don't have it in front of me. I'm wondering if the homeowners, if they remember that conversation as well. I hate to put them on the spot, but Joe, do you recall any of that conversation as well?
Brian, I do recall us having the conversation. I don't remember the explicit details thereof.
It's on town sewer. It's not on septic or anything.
Correct. Correct. It's town sewer.
Yes,
It sounds like it would seem that would be a long distance for it to run a discharge pool pipe to a sewer line. I guess it's not sort of a standard practice. Usually there's an area, or sometimes they'll install a little dry well or something to discharge that. So I'm not as concerned about the chlorine or the chemicals. I'm concerned about the volume of water that's discharged when you backwash a pool or have to drain it. That is just an area, like I said, that wouldn't cause a lot of erosion over time.
And I don't have an issue with that. And you know what I think we can do that, I'm hoping it would be comfortable for the commission. If we could provide a detailed description of how we're dealing with that, because they have described it, and I don't want to make anything up here that misconstrue any conversation that happened. We can provide that as a condition of approval for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Sue, do you have anything to add?
No comment.
You know, your hand is up. Did you know that?
My hand is up?
Yeah, you have a little hand
Oh,
up.
goodness.
I don't know
Sorry.
why. Kind of like me
I'll
pinning.
take it off.
I don't know how you do it. Okay, so anybody in the audience have anything to ask or anything additional for this project? For 170 Whitman Street. And the applicants, do you have any questions that you would like to ask the commission?
Not at this time, thank you.
Great, thank you. Do we have everything we need for this project? We have a file number and they're outside the 100-foot buffer for most of it. I mean, for all of it, and except for a little line of erosion controls. They are within the 200-foot riverfront proportion for a pool that is in the location of grass and a deck. And there is landscaping and there is no trees coming down. Is that true? No trees.
Yeah.
Are being removed.
Correct.
And there is calculations for stormwater and all of filing fees and whatnot are in the right spots, Deb?
Yes.
Filing fees, everything is good. Oh, Clay, thank you. All right, so if nobody has anything else, are we ready to close? And I'll take a motion if people think we're ready. Artie, you're on mute.
Ready to close the hearing at 170 Whitmore Road. I'm not sure of the DEP file number. So.
DEP file number 2348871.
Second.
All in favor, Peter?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Aye, Jen, aye. So we've closed the hearing. We will be discussing the order of conditions later this evening. You're welcome to stay on and listen if you choose, but you don't have to, and we will eventually sign. It takes us a little bit of time to have everybody in the commission sign these, but it will happen in the next week or so. And Deb or Clay will get you however you like. Who do you want this sent to? Or do you want to pick it up?
I believe it probably is best to go through LEC. Julie, if you don't mind. And
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we will send it to LEC.
Sounds good. Unless the applicants would like it sent directly to them, we can take it.
LEC.
Perfect.
LEC it is, and it'll be recorded and they'll do all the right things with it. All right, great. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that you
Thank
got
you all.
a
All right, thank you.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Thank
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have a
one.
good night. Okay, we're at 98 Grosvenor Road. DEP file number is not, we do not have a DEP file number yet. We can open this hearing, but we cannot close this hearing. So, where are we? 98. Diane?
Yes,
Are you here?
yes, hi, yep.
Jared?
Yes,
Jared.
I'm here. Yes.
Great. Kimberly? And Walter? There you are. Okay, so you can hear us and we can hear you. Great.
Okay. So again, Diane from Field Resources. I'm here with the homeowner and the designer. Jared is from Ivy Studios.
Yes.
We are here to present the project this evening at 98 Grosvenor for Kim and Walter. Can I share my screen with you all?
Does Clay have it, or do you need to share?
He has one, but it's not colored up.
Oh, all right.
I threw a couple colored lines on there.
Sounds good. Feel free to share.
Is that okay, Clay?
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay.
All right. Let's see here. So here we have the single family home that was recently built that came in front of you for the construction of the single family home. This particular lot has a resource area, and I'm going to scroll up, which is on the, I'm sorry, I forget which train, MWR, I believe. And again, property. And the wetlands are actually on the opposite side of the tracks. So the current lot slopes down to the tracks. The tracks are elevated, and then the wetlands are on this other side. It's a finger wetland that, in a roundabout way, is associated with Charles River. So currently, the house that's there was built, and there was there's currently a recharge system that is here, basically right on the 100-foot buffer line. That Cultec system will be removed, or I should say replaced, to the other side of the yard. That again was from the previous work. The pool is exempt from stormwater, so we don't have any additional recharge because the pool and patio are exempt, and the shed in the back does not trigger the stormwater bylaw. Additionally, this project has a retaining wall that will level out the backyard for the pool. With that, there are a few trees that will have to be removed. We have 2 trees in the back here that will be removed, and we have the replication of 4 trees on the side for the removal of those 2 trees. Again, we have a bulk of the work is outside of your jurisdiction, though it is still noteworthy because it is tied into the patio that leads to the shed and the proposed pool. There's some minor grading for the retaining wall. Again, that will reduce the surface runoff. There is an existing fence that will remain, and we have proposed erosion control just inside the fence. Beyond the fence is all naturally vegetated. Again, it slopes down to the track and then up for the tracks, and then the wetlands are on the other side. And that is about it. We have, again, a play area that's currently there. There's a mulched area, and again, it's going over between the play area and lawn is where the work will happen.
So,
is there any questions?
So where it says 75.00 feet, is that the back property line?
Yes, it is.
And it's also about 50 feet No, it's about, how far away is that from the wetlands?
Well, again, we have 61.4, the back corner of where the,
Oh, okay,
can you see it up
okay.
here?
Yep, okay, thank you.
And again, I believe we have some elevations on, oh, he didn't put them on. We do have elevations, but again, it's the elevations of the wetland are lower. But again, we have the train tracks, which were about 4 feet higher than the toe of slope here, down here, and then it comes up over the tracks and then back down on the other side.
Okay, great, thanks. Commission members, I guess
want-
you take this down.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen, okay?
We'll go through the commission members. Peter, you have any questions or comments?
No comments.
Stephen,
No comment.
Artie,
I can't think of anything.
Bill,
Same issue with the pool discharge water.
Mhm.
Is there an area you could put some crushed stone? That's all.
I'm sure we can figure something out, Jared.
Yeah, I was, we're relocating that Caltech infiltration system, as you had mentioned, Diane, to the right side of the property where the open lawn is. So we could certainly put it over there, which is fairly standard practice to do a larger bed of crushed stone or, you know, additional infiltration area, so.
so just out of curiosity, is this backwash, when you were describing it before, Bill, I was picturing it as like a bunch of stone that maybe a hose goes down into, and then it kind of prevents it from having erosion. Is it actually like a dry well? Like, what typically are people doing?
I've seen some people put in dry wells and they'll discharge into that. You know, I don't have a
And they
preference
put
either
it
way.
right into the infiltration system?
This is a Caltech system, so yeah, it is a chamber system, and
So
typically we found with the pools, I'm just speaking because we've done you know, designed a few of them. You know, the backwash or the drain down comes with winterization, and it's usually only about half of the pool water, of the pool volume, pool and spa, that's displaced into the ground. So there never would be a point typically where the entire pool would be drained down at once. So
It's still a large volume of water.
Absolutely is.
It has to be drained down.
Yeah,
So
absolutely
I guess my only concern is, I agree, it's not that often, but when it is, it can be a large volume of water. So I always like to see, I don't know if shouldn't really go in the stormwater infiltration system. I don't think I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, I'm trying to think, why wouldn't it be a good idea? Because they wouldn't drain it down when it's raining. They would drain it, you know, I assume that they would pick a nice day. So I don't know, why wouldn't it, I'm kind of trying to like just brainstorm. Why wouldn't it be a good idea?
Well, then you have to do routine backwash. It depends on the filtration system that you're using. Sometimes they'll use diatomaceous earth, and when you backwash, sometimes there's a silty substance that will come out. So I would think over time that might clog an infiltration system. So,
okay. So you don't want to use the same system.
I don't think that's probably a good idea. So I'm just thinking an area of some crushed stone where a hose can be laid down. So when you do displace a lot of this water, it has just some way to drain into the ground and without causing a lot of erosion. So
you're not putting it just on the lawn in the back.
Yeah. That's more my concern.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a large. It doesn't have to be a large area.
Sure.
Okay. You understand that? That's good. Sue, you have anything?
Just a quick question. 2 trees are being removed and 4 trees in place?
Correct. And the trees will be chosen from. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you had said 4 trees. 4 trees are going to be will be the replacement.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, Sue, is that everything that you have?
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering, on that plan, it showed a proposed retaining wall on that back property line?
Yes. Should I go back to that?
Yeah, sure.
I have I have photos as well, if anyone wants to see them.
Okay, we'll get to the photos in 1 minute. Now, so it says proposed retaining wall less than 4 feet tall. And is that because there's grading changes there?
Right, it's currently slopes slightly from the back of the house to where the
Okay.
current fence is.
And now
So
there's a 13-inch maple and an 18-inch oak. Are they on that wall?
they're here.
No, I see that 10-inch maple and the 15-inch maple. Then under the word control.
Oh, over here. Those are just outside the fence.
Not on your property?
They look like they're kind of on the line, but it's not something that we're gonna remove. And if we do find ourselves, we will definitely come back and ask for those to be removed.
Well, and if they're not on your property, you can't remove them.
Well, again, the oak looks like it is, but again, it looks like it's on the other side of the fence.
Okay, so, well, I think the goal would be to not remove them, but then you have to think about when you put this wall in and what that means. And so the high point of the wall is on the pool side and the property side, and then the low point of the wall
Correct.
is on the track side.
Correct, yes.
So in theory, the trees are on the low side of the wall. So you might be able to build the wall without hurting the trees. Is that, you don't want to dig into the roots of the trees though, so.
Correct.
So you
yeah.
want to tell us what you're going to do with that.
Okay, all right, we can have, we can have the arborist take a look at that and help guide us with those trees.
Great, thank you. So the other thing which we mentioned, well, there's no test pit data, but it's the same basically lawn that you had before. So I think I'm okay with that. You're
Okay,
basically moving it laterally, right?
Correct, and that was, yes, the reason why we have not done that, yes.
That works for me. The other commission members may ask also. And as we noted before, I think you submitted for a minor activity, but there's actually multiple minor activities going on. There's a pool, there's a patio, there's a shed, there's a wall. So you can work with Deb and Clay to determine what that minor activity fee should be so that we get it right. Deb, do you have the photos or does Clay have the photos that we should pull up?
Clay has them. I'm not in charge of photos anymore.
Maybe this comes down, yeah. Where's Clay? Hey, for some reason you keep moving. You started at the top. Okay, this is the back. So the house is staying, it's a new house, and now you're putting a big patio and a pool because the kids love to swim. This is all that kid stuff. Look at what a fun yard this is.
And because no one wants to fly, how's that one?
I know, everybody's bringing pools because nobody wants to fly.
You
anyway.
have no idea how many pools are going in Needham right now. No
Yeah,
idea.
well, I know, yeah, and you can't, yeah, you blame them.
Crazy.
Okay, and so this is just part of the whole shebang. So I think basically we want to understand about these are the two trees?
Right.
So we want to understand about the wall on the rear property line and any trees that it might affect. We don't want to kill any trees by mistake. And understand where the backwash of the pool is going to go, and you need a DEP file number. And is there anything else they needed?
Fees?
Yeah, we'll go over the
And the
fees
fees.
again.
And the fees. Okay. Fees, backwash, trees, wall. All right, and hopefully you will have a DP file number in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And
I did email them. They said they had it, they just hadn't had a chance to review it yet. So
okay.
they said they're about, yeah. When
Yours
you
and the
send
other
it in.
5 that were here tonight. So we will continue to August 26th. Does that work?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for 98 Grosvenor, did I
We,
get that right?
we did have one person from the public who
Oh,
had
okay.
briefly, it's back down, but I just wanted to give a moment to see if,
Yeah, thank you for reminding me on that. Is anybody in the audience want to speak about this project?
okay, we currently have a hand up from Amy. Amy, I'm gonna let you, I'm gonna move you in as panelist. It'll just take a moment.
Amy, can you hear us? I see you on mute at the moment, so.
Yes, hi, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in a butter to the property on the, when you're looking at the picture on the left side.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
Sure, so it's Amy Wixon and I'm located at 92 Grosvenor Road.
Okay.
And my only real question, or sort of just trying to understand, it looks to me like there's a lot of additional sort of impervious area now. And so I'm just concerned about runoff and where the water is going to go and how I may be affected by this.
So this looks like it's going to be running off towards the tracks. Is that what I think? Are you on either side of them, did you say? Or
Yes, yeah. So like looking at the drawing, I'm on the left side. And so, yeah, that would be my expectation also with the way that our property slope, but I just wanted to make sure with that retaining wall, like how does that potentially affect that?
Yeah, well, we've asked for a detail about the retaining wall because I'm envisioning, and I'm not, so maybe maybe Diane, you maybe are better at explaining what you think that retaining wall is going to look like. Because I'm thinking there's a retaining wall and there's dirt on top of it, and you know.
Yeah, the yard's going to be leveled out. It'll actually accept more natural recharge. So again, there's going to be less runoff to your house because again, we're going to keep more of it on our property. So it should actually benefit you in that manner because we're
How
leveling
is that? Why right now is it graded to her property?
a little bit. Should we go back to that?
Their yard definitely sits a little higher than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to level it out. It should actually keep it more on our property. And again, that's part of the nature of leveling out the yard. And it does allow more recharge. And that's what the commission actually looks for because it actually cleans the water before it gets into any resource area. And additionally, keep it away from, again, your lot. So it doesn't run off our lot. It will stay and recharge right on Locust property.
Okay.
And there will be a proper drainage pipe as well behind the wall. I should mention that with crushed stone. So we do intend to build it, per that practice. So
But what do you mean? Behind what wall?
behind the wall on the left side of the plan as you look at it.
Not the wall on the back property line.
The whole wall will have drainage pipe, fabric and crushed stone behind it. Yes, the entire wall will.
In the back or on the sides also?
Maybe Diane, could you pull that plan back up?
Yeah.
So again, the wall is on the back here and then on the left side.
And so your property, Amy, is on the left side?
That's right. Yep.
So the pipe and the crushed stone will be on the applicant's side of the property.
And the pipe's going to carry the water to the rear of the property?
Correct. Away from your side, towards the far rear of the property. And there's an infiltration area in the open lawn around where the swing set is, in front of the swing set.
That's over here, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of lost me on this pipe with the stone. Is it just a perimeter pipe that is taking any runoff that's kind of working through the wall? Like,
yeah, well, Jared, maybe you can explain how typically in any type of wall, if you don't allow release for when water freezes, so it doesn't freeze back there. So it's not going to be like a downspout from a house. It's just release Maybe just a
From
little.
hydrostatic
Right, but
pressure, hydrostatic pressure, yep, behind the wall. Yeah, yep.
But isn't the high side of the wall on your property and the
Correct.
low side of the, so isn't that crushed stone on your side of the property, not on the other side of the property?
It will be.
On our side, correct. The applicant side of the
Okay.
property, which,
I
yes.
thought you kept saying it was on the other side, and I'm like.
No,
I
no, no.
got it.
On the
Okay.
pool side, I'm sorry, on the pool side of the property, yep.
Okay, so you have a wall, at the bottom of that wall, the wall on the left side, the bottom of the wall has some crushed stone, allowing the water that is on the surface and not goes on the wall to work its way through and go out.
Yep, yep.
That's what's
Because I
happening.
believe
All right.
the concern is dirt washing over the wall and things like that, causing issues on the neighboring property, so we're
Right.
alleviating that.
Great. Does that make you feel more comfortable? Did that
Yeah, I
answer
think
your
so.
question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I haven't had any issues with this and I just don't want any to start.
You don't want any issues.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So thank you.
Great. Anybody else? And you can take this down again. Thank you, Diane. Anybody else in the audience, Clay?
I do not see any other hands up.
Any commission members have any additional for this? And the applicant, anybody have anything? We will be continuing this till August 26th. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you very much.
You
In
too.
a couple of weeks. Okay, we at the end almost? All right, 15 Heather Lane, Lot 1, notice of intent. Did we want to take up 766 Chestnut Street first, Debbie? Isn't this the same property?
It's the same. Yeah, you might as well, sure.
Take up 766 first?
Sure.
Okay, so 766 Chestnut Street. Joyce Hastings, you're here?
Yes.
And you're also here for she's not in the same order. Oh, 45, no, that's the wrong one. Where are we?
For Heather Lane?
There's an and next to my little sheet. You're the one person for the both things, all right. So 766 Chestnut Street, DEP file number 234858. There's been a request for a partial certificate of compliance. I think part of the reason for this that I feel like you may have presented this before, but I kind of heard it. It's a large property. There was a bunch of trees that were taken down, a bunch of trees that are being put up, but you haven't put them all up yet. You put some of them up, but you wanted to have a request for partial certificate because the parcel was being divided and there's two parcels now, and one of them doesn't have any of the trees on it and the other one has them all.
Correct. So at this point in time, all the trees and shrubs that were proposed to be planted have been planted. The only thing that's outstanding on that order of conditions that covers the enforcement order was the setting of 12 monuments on the 25-foot wetland setback. So I have submitted a plan that it just called for setting 25 evenly spaced across the property. It was not shown on the design plan. I have amended the plan to show where those bounds will be installed. They have not been. We will stake those out and install those monuments over the next couple of weeks. But the trees and shrubs have been planted. So what we're requesting is a partial to release lot 1, not a partial because the work is partially completed, but a partial to release lot 1 and keep the order on the house, the existing house at 766.
So Debbie and I were talking about this earlier and trying to deal with the registry and the filing, and it got very complicated. So it would be very useful if a request for an amended order, Deb, tell me if I'm saying this wrong, an amended order was requested with a plan that divides the two properties. So that it's something that we can refer to and be able to say, the order was amended. Deb? Am I
Yeah,
saying
so
right?
I talked to town council today, finally. We tracked him down. And so the cleanest way to go about it is to request an amendment to the order, presenting the plan as it's been subdivided, so that when we issue the partial certificate, that we have something to refer back to. And part of that has to do with the registry and being able to, when people are doing research, to that it makes sense. So that's the preferred method.
Okay, so we can do that, but it won't change the deed reference because the deed reference will still be the same. So it'll be an amended order, but it will still reference the same deed reference because there won't be a new deed for this yet. So I can do that. I don't have a problem doing that. I would hope that it would be considered a minor modification so that I wouldn't have to do a new public hearing. I mean, advertised for all the neighbors, it could be simply a minor modification.
I think it could be a minor modification, but Deb, you look confused, like this is not gonna serve the purpose that you imagined it was gonna serve.
So, I mean, it's still attached to the property and
So we have one, you know, when we issued the order, it was based on this certain parcel and lot. So if we're issuing a partial certificate, there's only the one form. And so I'm issuing a partial, but it's based on a plan that didn't exist when we issued the order. So
you want that plan made, like if she does an amended order, she would have, that plan would be part of this now. So then we issue then
we can refer to the amended order, or if you're doing a minor modification, we can refer to that plan that's presented in our partial certificate. This is what the lawyer thought too.
Oh, no,
so
okay.
it's certainly not just me, but we talked about it for probably half an hour today.
I'm just trying to figure out how all I'm trying to do is just make sure that it does accomplish what you want. I guess the new amended order would specifically reference the lot number, which is now this lot on Heather Lane, lot, I can't remember, 2, I think it is.
The new one is lot 1 and Kobe's existing is 2.
The new lot is lot 1. The house where 766 is now that we're talking about, I believe is lot 2.
Right. Yeah.
So the new, it might be, the only difference would be is that it would reference a different lot number. We can have the new definitive subdivision plan reference on it, but the deed reference will still be the same.
No, but I think it's the lot and map. That's what you wanted.
That's
You
fine.
wanted to be able to reference a plan that shows the 2 lots. And so then we're referencing the 1 lot.
So if I submitted a request to amend this all, say, on Monday, is it possible to just keep this moving for the next meeting?
Yeah. You don't have a file number anyway. So this is
I do, because this is an isolated wetland. It's just under the.
Yeah, it's just under our bylaw.
Oh, okay.
And I understand. We're trying to see if I can just keep things going.
Yeah. I think we can keep things going, but I think that was the confusing part, was to try to separate the 2 lots so that there was a plan associated with 766 and 1 Heather Lane that we can attach to the file number 2348558 and make a partial on it.
So if I'm doing this a minor modification just to correct the plan reference, I'm not proposing to notify abutters of this change? Is this just a rep?
So if we do a request for amendment, then it has to be advertised and all of that. So
Is if I file it tomorrow, can I get on for the next meeting if I do that? If I have to do that, Debbie? Typically, we would file 2 weeks in advance of a meeting, which would have been tonight, had I known.
right, I know, it's just that neither Clay or I are working tomorrow.
Is it possible to advertise it on Monday to get on for that meeting?
Clay?
I still have to post advertisements tomorrow morning. So I could get it on the same advertisement run, you know, first thing in the morning.
What do you need from me to do that for tomorrow morning?
Essentially the filing information. So we post the address, the map and parcel number, the applicant name, the proposed work, in this case for the amended, it's been a while since I've posted an notification, so we don't go through the same proposed work. We just say that it's an amendment to an existing order of conditions.
Write a letter that's, I'll quickly write a letter requesting the amendment and include the definitive subdivision plan and the references for that.
Great.
Okay.
That all works for everybody?
No, well, no.
Well, that's just a policy process.
Yeah, no, I mean that basically would work. I mean, basically, because I get it. I mean, we're not trying to stop the legal process from going on, but you know, now we're looking to jump through hoops to try to get something on for next Thursday meeting. When at the beginning of this, and now Joyce, I know this is a difficult situation, and I get that, but at the beginning of this, it was stated what's left to do. What's left to do is some monuments. Oh, they're all set. They're ready to go. They'll be in there in 2 weeks.
Oh, I didn't say the monuments. The monuments are something that
They're ready to. You said they're stated that they're ready to go in 2 weeks. They could be up in 2 weeks. That's what was stated.
The only thing that I said that was going in was the trees and the shrubs, Artie, because I didn't, at that point, I didn't realize that their bounds had to be set. So
no, I understand that. No, I understand that. But at the beginning, but no, I get it's a difficult situation. I truly do. But at the beginning of this, it was stated to us that the plans are all set, ready to go. But they can be up in a couple of weeks. They can be up in 2 weeks. So.
And they were. The shrubs were in. The next day, everything was finished right after the meeting.
No. I'm talking about the monuments. The only thing that's left.
Yeah. Again,
Okay. So if that's the only thing that's left, then we're stated that's going to be up in 2 weeks. Then.
So those monuments, I will have it within 2 weeks. I couldn't have them done prior to that.
No, I get that. No, I can appreciate that. No, I can appreciate that. But what I'm getting at is there'll be, you know, then it'll be ready. It'll be ready for issue, you know, then we can feel.
Yeah, but we still need a.
We still need to go through the process you're talking about. I get that. No,
And there's a monitoring period, so they still have to get separated, the two lots.
I know, they still have to get it separated. I totally get that. I just want to stick to the facts that we want to issue a minor mod. We still have to separate them, but we want to complete it before we issue a minor mod on this particular property, but we still have to separate them. It sounds like they're two completely separate things now. I can appreciate that. But if we're stated that can be completed in a couple of weeks, then I guess it could be ready for even the next meeting and the meeting after that. That's all. But we're being asked to jump through hoops now. Literally jump through hoops at midnight.
Well, only on one of the projects. So the other one, I think we're going to have a lot more conversation on. So
I'm still saying we're looking to jump through hoops now, approaching on midnight tonight for Clay or some of us, just so we can meet the requirements for the next meeting in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, only because Deb just talked to the town council to find out what the process should be. And so we're just going to go through the process.
I get it.
They're just dividing the lots.
No, I get it. I get it. We found out. So I don't understand. I mean, we're asking Clay to do something at midnight, early in the morning. Why? I mean, can't
Well,
wait.
he just said he's doing it anyway.
You're doing it anyway, Clay?
Yeah, for what it's worth, we did receive one new filing today, aside from from any amendments. So I do have to post those legals tomorrow morning.
Okay, so you're doing this anyway. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm good.
All right, so we're gonna move on to 15 Heather Lane, Lot 1, which is a notice of intent, and it is under the needed bylaw only because it is an isolated wetland. And is there
So I
a
can
plan to look at?
version to Clay, but I'm happy to share my screen if that makes it easier.
Clay, can you do that, or?
Yeah. Sorry, just switching gears from the 766 plans.
So again, Joyce Hastings from GLM Engineering. And this is a notice of intent to construct a single-family dwelling on lot 1, which is 15 Heather Lane. Heather Lane is the new subdivision road that's being constructed off of Chestnut Street. 766 is to the east of this property, the house that we were just speaking of. This is on the other side of that isolated wetland. And when Heather Lane got proposed, there were setback lines, zoning setback lines. So we have, if you can zoom just a little bit into the house area, you can see that perfect. And you can see that there is a front yard setback and a rear yard setback, and the lot is somewhat, it narrows as it heads towards Chestnut Street. So we have fit the house in outside the 50 foot, but within the 100 foot. So we're proposing some activity within the 50 to the 100 foot setback from that isolated wetland. The house, it's situated there, has the driveway coming in from the front of the street. We are providing, I've lost my mind. We have roof infiltration and the side and the front to accommodate the surface of the roof and porches. At the front of the house, each deck will have 6 inches of stone underneath it. The 2 decks at the rear of the property. We have there's a sewer manhole that was brought down Heather Lane from there's a sewer line that runs through the property off to the east. And they brought a sewer connection manhole down Heather Lane so that we have one sewer line coming in off of Heather Lane. It runs, I'm pointing on my screen, but that doesn't help you. From Heather Lane down, keep going to, there's a line that says S on it, where it says proposed sewer, that goes into keep going east. Yep, a little bit further.
There's a big line across, proposed.
Yeah, that's that, yeah, right there.
Between
So
the
the sewer,
50 and the 100.
Yep. So there's a sewer line that runs to the house. We have water and electric that comes into the front of the house. Gas comes diagonally across the driveway to the house. And we did perform a test pit in the front to determine where groundwater was, so that we put both the cellar floor and above groundwater, and we put the roof infiltration is about 2 feet above groundwater. There's some minimal grading around the house so that it's slightly elevated in the area of the house. As you can see, water will slope towards pretty much the same direction that it's heading towards now. It slopes towards both towards the wetlands and diagonally across the rear of the property. We are proposing to take down there's a calculation on the top of it. We're proposing to take down
22 trees.
22 trees. We are proposing to replicate that with 30 trees. I put a key on there. The dark circles are trees. There are 30 trees proposed for to replace that. The list came from the Conservation Commission's list of acceptable material, and we're proposing to put 30 shrubs within that area. We've kept the trees off the proposed sewer line, but we have some on both sides and then along the edge of the erosion control barrier, and then clustered some behind the house within the 100-foot buffer zone. Excuse me. I have identified the trees that are coming down with X's. We had an arborist come out to give us a report on that, which we have submitted with this application to talk about the trees that we are proposing to remove. And that, in a nutshell, that's
So the sewer line is proposed. Why does it cross the property? So
the sewer line is installed. The sewer line is, if you look at where the sewer manhole is, that's as far as they could, that's as far as they brought it down. That's existing sewer right there. So we're going gravity to it. So we've taken the shortest, straightest route to get sewer to the property. And we, again, all our work is outside the 50, and we've tucked some of the trees up in along areas where it's thinner in the buffer zone. The dark green is area that's not disturbed. The dark dashed line around the edge is the erosion control barrier. And yes, the sewer line does go through. There's a stub that was dropped off about where that hand just was, is about where the stub, yeah, right in there. The stub came off.
oh, really? There's
Yeah.
a stub?
Yep.
So you have to come at that point. You can't change it because there's a stub.
Yep. And I think it was, I don't think it was so easy for them to get that sewer manhole there because of the way everything's so flat out there.
Okay.
So
Artie,
that's if anybody has any questions, comments?
Artie, I'm sure you do. So I'm
No, I mean, I know there's and I know that lot's, I think that lot's greatly cleared already. Joyce, was that a lot of that?
there's 22 trees she's taking down,
Oh, I
22
get that.
trees, Artie.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah, we have photos.
Yeah, I get that. So, I mean, I'm not really interested in any trees which are the arborist thinks should come down anyway, unless they're a threat to the house. As far as at least mitigation goes, I have no concern about that. I mean, certainly it'd be interesting to see what these trees are like. I mean, I can appreciate the trees near the house. I can appreciate those coming down, and I can appreciate the fact that the lot I think is cleared already. It's been that way for quite a while. I mean, certainly there can be a concern of so many trees are coming down that have no impact on related to the house at all.
Mhm.
So I do have concerns about that. I'll leave it at that right now.
All right, you can take this down so we can look at each other. Okay, Peter, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, actually, once I understood the map a little bit better, I felt more comfortable because I thought a lot of those trees were going into the 50 or within the 50, but actually it's in the wooded area just outside the 50. I think there's only 2 or 3 that are right at sort of at the line. So I feel comfortable with the placement of those trees.
What about the taking down of the other trees?
Well, I don't like that. But
We don't have to let them take down 22 trees just because they ask.
I don't like the fact that they've taken that the arborist report. So yes, so I mean, it might be useful to go through in greater detail in the arborist report too, because I think some of those were tagged as hazard trees, some of them were tagged as invasive species. So it might be useful to find among those trees, if we're going to save any of them, what are the highest value trees that we can convince them shouldn't come down.
So I believe his report numbered them and on his sketch.
Mhm.
Each one is a number.
Okay, let's come back to that after each commission member has a chance to weigh in from the minute. Stephen, you have anything to add at the moment?
Yeah, I think this one is significantly different than the first one because, you know, the first one was trees that were in the wetland. These trees are all outside the 50-foot buffer. As already mentioned, a lot of them are close to the house. So, you know, there are several that are considerable distance away from the house, so those may be reconsidered. But I think all in all, I'm okay with the project as a whole.
Bill,
No other comment.
Sue?
I agree a little more evaluation with saving some trees. Is the riverfront 200-foot involved here?
No, this is out closer to the street.
Okay. It's just, yeah, evaluation maybe with the trees.
So, yeah, I mean, 22 trees just seems like a lot of trees to me. So, and some of them are not particularly close to the house. So maybe we can go back to the report and look at the trees and starting with the farthest away from the house. So I don't know, it's the easiest way to do that. Is it to look at the plan and look at the report at the same time somehow?
I pulled it up in two windows. I'll share screen now. You can see the numbered plan on one side, and then you can go through the descriptions on the other.
Great. And let's try to start with kind of like zoom in on the trees. So number one is the farthest away. The green are the circles that are all being removed. All right, so what does number one say?
So number one is a 7-inch maple, and that is very close to our sewer line, which isn't shown on this sketch. So that's a Norway.
So there's the sewer line.
Yep, so number one is the Norway maple.
All right, so that's close to the sewer line. All right, number two. Cedar.
Listed as a cedar.
So I don't necessarily, so I don't know what he had to say about the cedar.
He didn't, in the descriptions, he didn't quite split it out.
Oh,
he says it's dead.
So that tree is dead, number two. So we located everything that was out there, regardless of its condition, and I think he had a picture of that number two also.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is the intent, besides removing these trees, the colored plan made it look like the intent is to transform this area into lawn, where now it's just woodland debris. Is that the idea?
The goal was to create, although I have plantings in this area, the goal was everything that's light green on my plan was to make it lawn.
Right.
So although it's a 1 acre parcel, it's most of the usable private area would be about where the arrowhead is now on that screen, because the rest of it's headed towards Chestnut Street. If you bring your hand down a little bit.
Yeah, this
So
is.
So there is no effectively, I mean, it's an odd shaped lot, and that's, and so, you know, the idea of the private yard area where the street trees are between this, but where the, oh, that's my arrowhead, so that didn't help you. If you could put your hand out there again, go to the other side, right there, so that, you know, yard area, private yard area might be right, come closer between that area between the house, you know, that area between there and the street.
Well, I would just say there's a lot of private yard next to Chestnut Street. It looks like there's a whole lot of wooded area between Chestnut Street and your grass. Like 25 foot of trees, woodland.
Well, I'd call it a green because we don't intend to take those down, but it's not real. I mean, it can be planted and landscaped. Yes.
Yeah, why couldn't they put some arborvitae's there or hedges?
They can. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, I live on a small lot and I don't need a soccer field in front of my lot, on my parcel. So, it seems like there is a lot of grass here. I think it's hard to make the case that these folks need a lot of lawn because they're somehow disadvantaged or something.
We could also argue then, why is the house in the 100-foot buffer zone taking trees down? It's a fairly big lot. There's plenty of room to slide the house over. So we can make that we can make that the argument if we wanted to. We can certainly make the argument of why would we ever allow a bunch of part of the forest to be cut down in our jurisdiction for lawn to be planted? I can't see that going on. And that would be against our charter or against our mission statement. Even allowing a house in the 100-foot buffer when there's plenty of other land around for it to be slid over 25 feet.
So, I mean, as you can see, it gets much narrower as it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I guess I agree. I struggle with this because this is a large lot and there's a lot of lawn and you're within the jurisdiction that it's an isolated wetland that, isolated wetlands could become vernal pools. There's some opportunity with the river. I mean, it's more than 200 feet, but it's just, it's hard to see trees coming down all the time. And so this is kind of our mission, is to protect some of these. And
so if I were to, just for discussion purposes, the sewer line is a linear installation, and it can be a temporary in nature. We just don't necessarily want to. I'm sorry.
Sue's just coughing.
Oh, sorry. We don't necessarily want to.
Is the sewer line there already?
No. Well, that's where the stub lays out. So if I then took instead and there are dead, the dead tree and that one maple is really there's two maples that are on. So if I worked to save basically I can't point, Clay, so I'm sorry.
Joyce or Jen, I'll ask you. I would like to ask the question again because I didn't quite understand the answer.
What I wanted to do.
Where is the sewer line going now? Does it exist there right now?
So there's a stub.
It's a stub where? Where is the stub?
Back on the edge of Heather Lane.
Okay, so the line does not exist going through the property like that right now. So the tree isn't near the sewer line. The sewer line is going to be placed near the tree. That's what's going on. So it's a choice being made to go through the forest. Whereas does that have to be the choice? Do we have to allow that to be the choice? Does it have to be the choice? Again, the tree isn't near the sewer line. The sewer line is going to be placed near the tree.
So Clay, would it be all right if I shared my screen?
Yes.
Oh, no, I just have to get the right plan up. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I think that we want to have this discussion, but we also are going to want you to come back with something that is not as.
I want to have the discussion far enough so that we can discuss what I just want to go forth with a.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't hit share. Just so I can go forth and discuss this, so I know what to come back with.
Yep.
If I could. So one of the thoughts that I have is I would like to remove these trees around the house. This area right here. I don't really need to take these down. I can change my erosion control barrier and just do a temporary without taking down any of the, again, we have a dead tree here, but so I can concentrate some of my plantings in this area. I can pull some of them out of the, you know, of this area here and fill them in here and move my erosion control barrier. I would have a temporary sewer installation that only has to be 2 feet wide that goes through here. And then my limit of lawn and work would be like this.
That would be better.
And then I'd like to take the trees down that would be around this end of the house. We worked really hard with the architect to come up with a house that met the requirements of, you know, of the person who's building it, and was narrow enough so that we could tuck the garage forward. I have to keep, I have a bulkhead coming out here, so I can, the corner of the house, so we kept jogging everything so that I could tuck it forward a little bit. So if I could, you know, work to save these trees, move my erosion control barrier here, and then concentrate some of my plantings in the area of the dead cedar and this kind of open area here, pull them out and put them in this area. And then I want to still keep some screening here for in the buffer zone, just for neighbors. And then, you know, pull some of these out so that they are more effectively cover this area, but not being directly over the sewer line. Would that be, would you think that would be reasonable?
It'd definitely be preferable. So then how many trees would you be talking about removing in that scenario?
I would eliminate, there's 4 here. Let me see, they're clustered and the trees vary in diameter. I've, you know, because I've located all of them that are there.
So Joyce, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you point to where the stub is on your plan?
It's over in this area here.
I think it's probably right off of the pavement of the street.
Because
right?
it comes off the edge, yes.
Yeah. So can you evaluate or come back to us and tell us why there can't be a manhole installed at that stub, and then the sewer line parallel Heather Lane, and then take an angle and really parallel the proposed electric line and come in to the house more perpendicular and this angled line through the woods, which again is somebody in the future is going to say has to be maintained and kept clear of trees when we want trees to grow there and become a forest.
I can look at that.
Here we go.
But even if I brought it, I mean, I'm not sure the mechanics of it. I will go back and discuss it, but even if I came, you know, to this point and came in.
Steve, I thought about that. One of the things I'm thinking is that that stub is at a certain elevation. By running it down the street and going in the front, that could, you need more pitch, therefore that could raise the foundation, that could cause more grading. I don't know, but I'm saying, I think there probably was a reason they wanted the shortest.
I will find out for sure.
It's a little long back here, Bill, but that's why I wanted to know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to go back and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, we're talking about moving it 30 feet over to one side, then coming in, then just being on maybe the other side of the 100-foot buffer, or at most cut through the very end of it as it's hitting the house. I mean, you were talking about sliding it over, but you're talking about still coming into the house at the exact same spot. Whereas opposed to there's I'm guessing it can come into the house at another spot, would be my guess. It can come into the house a little bit more in the front of it. And so we're not talking sliding. The sewer line doesn't have to slide very much in order to accomplish this goal.
I will take a look at that and see what I can do. So
Yeah.
again, my goal would be to, if you would allow, I would like to instead now just straighten this out and come up through here.
Well, let's just talk about some of those things, because I see a 24-inch oak and a 22-inch oak, and oaks are lovely. So the 24-inch oak, is there anything particularly horrible about that tree? You know,
Wait, could you bring up that?
I mean, some of them are small, like a dead cedar maybe is not an item to be overly concerned with, but a 24-inch oak tree sounds lovely.
So
I
that's
think it's number
7.
7.
So he's got nothing to say. He's got nothing to say about the tree. So
They're just close to the limit of work.
yeah.
So, I mean, I guess those are some of the ones that I'd be more interested in,
All right.
in trying to protect.
So I think I have an idea of what you're thinking. The rest of there are some other trees here that are close, like these. I'm not sharing anymore, so I can't help you.
Well, I'm not, yeah.
So there are other.
Another question, Joyce, those street trees that parallel Heather Lane, are they installed?
These trees here?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, those are just street trees.
I do have some existing conditions pictures that Clay can put up if you want to see them.
Oh, yeah, let's see those. We're all tired now. It's almost, so we have to be done in a couple minutes because we're tired. What are we looking at?
So you
So
look
that
house already.
You're standing,
I was like, it looks like it's already there.
I know.
you're standing on Heather Lane and you're looking approximately into the porch.
Is that somebody's house and the next lot over?
Yes.
That's the backyard then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the backyard. Yes.
That's on Chestnut Street, right? That's the backyard on
Oh,
Chestnut.
that's the street.
That's on Heather.
On Chestnut Street. Yes.
On Heather?
Well, this is looking from Heather.
Standing on Heather.
Yeah. So it's already cleared pretty much that area outside the buffer zone.
Yep.
Except for those trees along Chestnut.
Is
So
that
those are the
stop
existing trees that
Those are
Pierce
the ones
had
that are
put in.
running in the front.
Oh, those are the existing street trees that look like they're majestic on your plan?
Oh no. I pulled the copy off of the design plan for the yes. Those are the streets. So if you
How many
already? Your 24-inch maple is a single little teeny
No,
dot,
no,
and these little guys that could be replanted are gigantic. Okay. We appreciate your honesty, Joyce, on all of this. That's a good. So that stop sign is the end of Heather Lane before you get to Chestnut?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but that other house we were seeing, that's on Chestnut Street, isn't that the house
No.
behind this lot?
So it's what would be behind the house.
We're looking at Heather Lane going into the lot, correct?
We're standing on Heather Lane, looking across the lot, parallel
to the left.
Chestnut.
Okay.
So this picture, they're standing on Heather Lane.
There might be more pictures that might, I don't know.
Do you have any more? Yeah, so that's
That's the existing so that's the area of cutting. Where they would be cutting.
So we had staked out the house box. I can see some of the stakes there for the house box.
How many trees have already gone down?
None.
Already?
Well, they were outside of the
outside
buffer
buffer.
zone.
Nothing.
Right. I'm just wondering how many down.
Go ahead, Clay. Again. I don't know if there's any more. But
No, I just have the 4.
okay.
So if you
All right, so we need to feel better about this. So do you have a sense of how you can make us feel better?
Yep, I do.
Great.
So you're gonna move the house a little closer to Chestnut Street?
I've already moved it. I've gone back to the architect several times to have them make it reconfigured so that I can keep moving it forward. So
So we can move it another 10 feet.
but I will change the I will work with the erosion control barrier on the sewer line.
Great, and save some of those big oaks.
And take a lot of the lawn away, at least a minimum to the 110-foot elevation line. Leave the lawn. Don't go any further than that. Minimum.
100-foot buffer zone.
No, the 110-foot elevation line. You look at that. It's close to the house.
Oh, the limit of work? Like the
Yeah.
limit of grading?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so does this have to, do we continue? We still continue this hearing, right? It's a posted hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to come back on August 26th?
I would.
Okay, I have a motion to continue, what's the address again?
I'm actually gonna take a swing by the property. I'm gonna take a look at it, please.
Yeah, it looks like it's easy to swing by it, right? It's just.
Yeah.
for the
that's what
layout of the
I
house.
thought. I'm gonna swing by and look.
15, yeah, I think anybody, feel free to
Yeah.
drive by. 15, so we need a motion to continue 15 Heather Lane, Needham, what is it, Needham? G, General, what, Wetlands Protection, like
What?
NGWP number 19. Amazing, we only have 19. August 26th.
So moved.
Okay.
I have a second.
I second.
All in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. All right, continue. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye. So
Did we
do-
have to continue 766?
we
I don't know
talked
if we
about
voted
it,
To continue 766.
but we didn't have to because it was just other business, so we didn't have to vote for it. We just told it to come back. So we have just one order of conditions or two order of conditions? One, Peter? Don't we have two? Don't we have 83 Rolling Lane and we have 170?
There are two drafts, though. I didn't know if we were doing the
Rolling.
rolling.
Oh, right, we continued that one, right, yay. Okay, 170 Whitman. Peter, did you read it?
I did. Looks fantastic.
Excellent. Anybody else? Can we have a motion to, do we want to read it? Did
Well,
everybody look at
there
it?
was a special condition in it, so
There was?
yeah. I don't have it in front of me.
Pulling that up now, and I can make notes of what.
We wanted to add a condition to install a backwash well, or have them explain how they were gonna do the backwash well, or something in that order.
Yeah, so my notes was to have that, well, they said that they might have the ability to drain into the municipal system of some kind, so I will have a condition that helps clarify what their end product is going to be, and to bring it for approval should it not be drained into a municipal system.
Bill, that's
That's fine. That sounds fine.
The other highlighted part that I had was they're not doing any vegetation clearing. They are planting the native species in the mulch planting beds. I put in there for conditions for the restoration monitoring, but really this isn't mitigation planting. It seems to be landscape planting with the favor towards native species. So I wasn't sure it's entirely appropriate to have them submit monitoring reports.
I wasn't really listening to you.
No, I get it though. So
Yeah.
because these aren't
monitoring reports, yeah.
yeah, these aren't mitigation planning. So why do we care in a sense?
Right. So I will omit the monitoring, and then the last piece of it was, there's whether you wanted signage associated with the pool for instructions on draining, such as leaving it. We've got a stock condition oftentimes for pools that prior to winterization or other draining of the pool, no chemicals to be added for a 2-week period, during which time existing chemicals in the pool will be allowed to dissipate. Do you want signage like that, or do you feel that this is far enough from the resource areas, except the outer riparian, where signage like that may not be as sensitive of a site to require that kind of signage?
I like signage.
I agree.
I mean, can't, till they wait for 2 weeks, it's not like a hardship.
And then the last piece was whether you wanted them to submit an operation and maintenance plan for the trenching.
Oh, trenching.
It seems like, yeah. Okay, I will admit that then as well.
Thank you.
Conditions.
Okay, so now we need, everybody happy? Okay, so we need a motion to approve the order of conditions as discussed or amended for 170 Whitman Street, DEP file number 234871.
So moved.
You should move that one. Second.
Great, all in favor. Peter,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet. Thank you. Aye. Okay, are we done? Can we do the meeting minutes another time? It's only one. All right, so we need a motion to join. Thank you very much for hanging in there, guys.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank
Second.
you.
Aye, 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 aye. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
Janet.
Bye.
Thanks, Janet. Great job.